Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to show you how to make a bracelet that I featured on the blog about 2 years ago. But when I made it back then, I thought it would be really cool to do it in 95 cord. I've had a half-finished bracelet sitting in my desk for that long. And so that's what I want to show you today. It's called the wide zipper. It's a little bit of a crochet design, and you crocheters out there are probably going to say that's grossly inaccurate, but I don't know any better. So let's dive right in. Alright, so for this project, you're going to need 10 feet of one color and 20 feet of another. I'm going to use charcoal gray for the base color and imperial red for our highlight color. So unfold those and find the middle of both cords. So once you've found the middle of both of your cords, you want to take your red color, or highlight color rather, and make a loop, but we'll do that around our gray. So put your gray in the middle of your red, and then pass a red through both directions. So I'll lay it out here so you can see what I'm doing. So it should look like this. Your gray cord is wrapped around your red cord in kind of an X there. And just to anchor things in place, we're going to do half of a square knot. So lay the right side over the top, left side down and around. And we're going to be using a knot and loop closure on this bracelet, and so you want to leave enough of a loop on the end to fit a diamond knot, or whatever knot you're going to use for your closure. A toggle knot would also work well. Just keep in mind that a diamond knot made in 95 cord is going to be far smaller than one made in 550. So I need to go down about like that. Now we're going to turn our bracelet upside down, so just kind of flip it back towards you. The nice thing about this bracelet is that you don't need to thread ends through any loops. I was saying it's kind of a crochet design. That's because we'll be feeding loops through other loops, and the whole thing ends up being kind of a quick release. So once you have your bracelet facing up, take the rightmost middle cord, so this gray one here, and we're going to make a loop with our working end, which is this here, going underneath. And then we want to feed our red cord on the right through that loop. And then we'll cinch it down. There's not much to hold it in place yet, so you can cinch it kind of lightly. And you want the working end here to be pointing downward. So this is the top of our bracelet that you're seeing right now. You want the working end to be pointed downward. You don't need to necessarily orient them that way yet, just keep that in mind as we're weaving the bracelet. So now this cord that we wrapped around the red cord is going to be going through the next cord. So this one set aside, take your left middle cord and do the same thing that you just did, making a loop. Oops, try to get that knot on top of everything so you can see it. A loop towards the left here, like before, with our working end underneath. Then take that cord that you just wrapped around your red, so your other gray cord, or my other gray cord, and feed it up through that loop. Cinch that one tight, and also pull on that loop that you just put through. Make sure that you don't have any slack in either of those loops. And then once more, we're going to be making a loop with our red cord on the end. So same story, make a loop with the working end underneath towards your left, and bring that cord that we just wrapped around the other gray up through that loop, and cinch that one down, leaving a loop like this. So after you finish that first row, you should have your end loop here, and then we have our 3 finished loops. Now we're going to be working our way back the other direction and going back and forth down the length of the bracelet, just making these loops and cinching them down. So our red cord on our leftmost side here is going to be going through the loop next to it. So like I said before, you want your working end to be facing down. So here's my working end. That's this one right here on our gray cord on the loop. We want that to be facing down towards the bottom of the bracelet. So if it got flipped around this way, now our working end is on top. We don't want to go through the loop this direction. We want it facing down so that we go through this direction. So put a loop through, and then I'll first cinch that loop down around it. And then this red one, after that we want to pull that tight as well. And then just maybe pull your gray one more time to make sure that's all tight. So now we'll move on to the next one. Every step, the cord that you just wrapped around is going to go through the loop in the next step. So on this loop, we'll just make sure that our working end is on the bottom again, and it is. Then we'll take that cord that we just wrapped around and put through the next one. And then cinch the cord around it. And then also pull the loop tight. You can kind of readjust your loop so that it stays small like the rest of them. Cord that we just wrapped around and go through that next loop. You just want to always keep track of which direction you're going. You want to do a full row before you move on to the next one. Cinch that down. Also pull the loop itself. I'm going to do a couple more of these rows, and then you'll see what the pattern should look like. So now you can see the pattern a little bit better. Here's our original loop, and we're working this way. You can kind of see the red stripes or highlights on there. And now it might be a little bit easier for me to tell you the couple tips I was showing you earlier. So this is the top. On our bottom side, we have all of our working ends. We want to keep them down there. So all of our loops are oriented this way with the working ends coming out on bottom. If you set this aside for a while and you aren't sure which direction you were going, you always want to start on the direction where you have a loose cord next to an opposite color loop. So we're not on this side where we have the same color cord and loop. We would start on this side going back the other direction. We'll finish this off and catch you at the end. Once you get to the length that you want, the only thing that we're going to do differently on this row is instead of putting a loop through, we're going to put the end of the cord through. So starting on this end, we've got our gray loop and the red cord. We're just going to take the end of that cord and put it through. Then just like before, we'll cinch down that gray loop. Make sure everything's tight before moving on to the next one. So that red cord we can set aside now. The gray cord that's cinched down, we'll just bring that all the way through this next loop. So pull the excess through and cinch down the next one. Make sure it's good and tight, and we'll move on to the next one. Gray cord through the red loop. So when you get to the end, you should have 2 gray cords in the middle with 2 red cords on the sides. Okay, so now we're going to finish it off the same way that we started it, with a little bit of a cobra weave. This is just a simple way to lock down all of our cords. So I'm just going to grab the red cords and weave them around my center gray. And we'll do a full square knot this time. So one back and forth. So now that we've got our red cords coming straight out of a knot, we can melt those against so that they don't pull through. And then with our 2 gray cords, we're going to be making a toggle knot to finish our closure. The toggle knot is really simple, but we'll link to a video dedicated to that in the description. We'll do it really fast here. Take the right side cord and make a loop across the front with our working end going to the left, and then the opposite with our other cord. You want the working end behind and going to the right. So it looks like this. And then with this cord, it's going behind. We're going to bring it around front and go down through that right side loop. And then this one that's in front will go from behind through this left side loop. Then you just pull both ends to tighten. And there is the toggle knot. It's pretty small in this 95 cord, but it should still hold in that loop. I like this knot because it's a lot lower profile than a diamond knot. Clip those ends and finish this up. So we'll try that on. I really like using microcord for bracelets because they're not as bulky as 550. And this is actually a bracelet that you could dismantle pretty easily if you need to use the cord. In the description, we'll toss a link to where you can buy a 95 cord for yourself, and also a blog post on why I think 95 cord is the best paracord. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.